Hello and welcome back. Last time in our series we finished building the stories component and the posts component. Now we're gonna continue and build the sidebar, and after this we're gonna build this modal as well. Okay, so let's get into it. In our VS Code I'm gonna create a mini profile. So in the feed we're gonna create a component called MiniProfile. So I'll say MiniProfile. Let's create it in the components folder as well. So MiniProfile.js, rfc, save, and let's import it in the feed. Save, and now we have the mini profile. Let's get into it. And here, instead of the mini profile, I'm actually gonna have, let's see, so we have a picture, then we'll have the user's name instead of the login, and then we'll have the login button. So we have three things. Let's start with the picture. So I'll have a div. Inside this div I'll have the picture and the username. So I'll say image, and the source will be profile. Let's import the profile picture. So import profile from assets/profile.jpg. Save. Now we're gonna say profile.src. Save, and we have our picture. Now I'm gonna create a p tag, and inside here I'm gonna have the name. So I'm gonna say for now I'll say my name. So actually I'll say Joe Doe. Save. Joe Doe. Save. I'm gonna say flex for this, and let's add the button as well before the styling. So I'm gonna add a button, and this is gonna say login. Okay, login. I'm gonna say sign in. Save, and let's say flex as well for this. So class name equals flex, and save. Okay, now that we have this set up, let's actually give some styling to the image. So I'm gonna create another div, and I'm gonna place the image inside this div. Let's save. Let me delete this white space, and here I'm gonna say width of 14 and the height of 14 as well. Save. Now let's give the image some class name. I'm gonna say rounded full, so border radius rounded full. I'm gonna say justify between. Now we can say item center as well, so item center. Save. Let's copy this and actually paste it in here. Save, and we have the items centered. I'm gonna give some padding to the left to this John Doe. So to the padding, let's say class name. Actually let's give it to the image. So I'm gonna say margin right of 3 maybe. Save. Let's try padding. Okay, so it's better to give it to the p tag. Class name, I'm gonna say padding left of 3. Looks good. So for the username I'm gonna say text small. So here I'm gonna say text small. I'm gonna say font semi-bold. Save. And now all we have to do is to style this button as well. So I'm gonna say class name, and for this button I'm gonna say as well text XS. I'm gonna give a font of semi-bold, and I'm gonna give a text color of, let's see, it's hashtag 009 5F6. Save this, and we have this nice mini profile. Now it's good to give some padding to the top, as here. So let's go to the top of the mini profile. I'm gonna say margin top of 3 maybe. No, that's a little bit, we need more, so I'm gonna say 8. Okay, 8 looks good. Now the next thing to do is to build these suggestions. So in the feed, let's save this, and in the feed let's create the suggestions components. I'm gonna say suggestions, save. Let's actually create the component in the folder, so suggestions.js, rfc, save, and let's import it as well. So in the feed, imported, we have the suggestions. Now let's go to the component, and here, as you can see, we have first of all, I'm gonna add this suggestion for you at the end. So let's focus on building this this array of profiles. So we'll have an image, a username, a suggested for you, and a follow button. So we're gonna need some profiles as well from the faker.js. It will be exactly the same how we build these stories. Okay, so let's start. First, in the suggestions, I'm gonna need an array of 5. So to do this, we'll need a use effect hook. So use effect and arrow function. We'll need an object with an array inside it. So I'm gonna say dot array, and we'll not need 30 this time. So we only need 5 of them. So I'm gonna map to this array, and for each profile I'm gonna need an object that has, and let's see what we need. We need the profile and the username. That's it. So I'm gonna say a user ID as well. So yeah, let's get the user ID as well. So user ID, and this is faker dot data type dot uuid, comma, and now let's add the username as well. So I'm going to say username, it's faker dot internet dot username. Let's add a comma, and now we need the avatar as well. So I'm going to say faker dot image dot avatar, and save. Okay, now we have this array. We have to end this use effect so it doesn't run forever. Let's save this, and let's create a state in which we are gonna save this. Okay, so we're gonna say, let's create a state first. So I'm gonna say const suggestions and set suggestions equals use state, and this is gonna be an empty array. Okay, so now let's say set suggestions, it will be equal to this whole thing. Okay, so let's see set suggestions, and now let's see where this ends. So we have this one and this one. Okay, so it's gonna end right here. Save, and let's see what's the problem. So useState is not defined. Okay, so let's import useState as well. useState, save, and now if we go to inspect console log, let's actually say console log suggestions. So console log suggestions, and we have this array of 5 items. Okay, avatar, user ID, and username. Let's show them. So let's map through each profile. So I'm gonna say suggestions dot map, and this is gonna be inside curly brackets because we are in JavaScript. Okay, so to map for each profile, we are going to have not an object but a div. Okay, so let's say for each div we want the image, so the profile image, the username suggested for you, and the follow button. Okay, let's add first the image. So here I'm gonna say image, and the source it's profile dot avatar because we are getting it from here. That's how it's named. Okay, so we have the image. Now we're gonna need the username as well, but not here, outside. So let's create another div for the username. This is gonna be a p tag, and we're gonna call this profile dot username. Again, it's taken from here. The next p tag is gonna be suggested for you, and all we have to add is the button. Okay, so I'm gonna say button, and this is gonna be follow. Save, and let's see what we have. We have the name suggested for you and the follow button. Okay, let's say flex. Save. Again flex. Save. I'm gonna say item center. Save. And this image, it's obviously a little bit it's obviously big, so I'm gonna give it a width and a height as well. So let's say, let me make sure. Okay, we don't need this flex, so I'm gonna say a width of 8 and a height of 8 as well. I'm gonna save. Let's add some class name, some border radius. So I'm gonna say class name rounded full. Save this, and now let's say justify between, but not on this one. Oh yeah, actually we have to create another div and include the picture and the username and the suggested, so we can say justify between. Save. Now I'm gonna say flex here as well. Flex. Save. Okay, so this is how we want to look. Let's give this an items center as well. Save. Okay, now it looks better. I'm gonna give some padding to the left for this one. So I'm gonna give this p tag. Class name, let's say margin left of 3. Oops. Let's copy this class name, delete this, and I'm gonna say here margin left of 3. Save. Let's give it a 4 maybe. Yeah, looks good. I'm gonna give some padding to the top as well, so I'm gonna say class name, let's say margin top of 4. Okay, and let's give some styling. So for the let's see, suggested for you. Okay, so for the suggested for you, or the profile name, the profile username first, let's say class name of text small and font semi bold. Save. And for the suggested for you, let's say class name here as well. I'm gonna say text XS and a text gray 500. So this is gonna be the color of the text. Save. And for each one, So let's give some padding to the top as well. So for each profile, I'm gonna say margin top of 4 maybe. Let's check. Okay, maybe 5. So I'm gonna say margin top of 5. Yeah, looks good now. What do we have to add? So for this follow button, we have to give this some styling. So class name, I'm gonna say text XS, I'm gonna say font semi bold, and let's give the blue color as well. So the color was hashtag 0095 F6. Save this, and voila, we have this nice suggested page. So let's add these suggestions for you at the top. So before the curly brackets, I'm gonna say div, and inside this div I'm gonna have two things. So two p tags. What were they called? Suggestions for you. Okay, suggestions for you, and the button with see all. So button see all. Save this, and now let's give some styling to this. Save, and as you can see, we have to say flex. So here flex call, so it is gonna be no, my bad. Save. I'm gonna say items center, and justify between. Okay, now the styling for this is gonna be text. For these suggestions, I'm gonna say class name and text small, font semi bold, and text gray of 400. Save this, and now for the see all, say class name, font semi bold, text XS. Save this. Now I think they are identical. Yeah, we need to give some margin to the top, and that's it. So margin top 1. Let's copy this, and let's give this a margin top of 1. Yeah, now it looks better. The last thing to do is to add this info. Okay, so at the bottom we are going to create another div. So outside these suggestions, let's create another div, and inside we are gonna have a p tag for this about. So let's take an example, about. And to get this let me zoom in. To get this circle in HTML, we're gonna create a span. So span, and inside this span we're gonna have some symbols. So it's gonna be this one, and 183, and semicolon. Save, and as you can see, we have this dot. Okay, looks the same. Now we're gonna need, let's see how many we need. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Let's copy this 9 times. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. About, this is gonna be help, this is gonna be press, this is gonna be API, jobs, privacy, terms, locations, and language. Let's save and see what we have. Let's say flex, let's say flex wrap, and now we're gonna need some styling. So let's say text extra small. I'm gonna say margin top of 6, margin top of 6. I'm gonna say text semi-bold. I'm gonna say text. Let's give this a color, so the gray. I'm gonna say hashtag d2 d2 d2. Save this, and we're gonna need some spacing between them. So to do this, I'm gonna say space x on the x-axis of 1. So if you hover over this, it's this styling. Okay, let's save, and we have this spacing. Now I'm gonna need some I'm gonna say class name, margin top of let's say 1, and save. We don't need this, the last span, so only this one we can delete. Save, and let's add some margin to the top on the span as well. So save, and we have this nice language. I just, this margin top is just for the language and for this dot. Okay, now the last thing to do, let's see, is to add this tag. Okay, so let me copy it, and we're gonna need a p tag, so outside this one as well. Yeah, outside. We're gonna need a div, and inside this div I'm gonna say p tag. Oops, I'm gonna say p tag, and inside this p tag we're gonna have this copyright sign. You can find it on Google if you want it, and this text. Save, and let's add the styling. So text XS, the margin top of 6, a text semi-bold, and the color it's gonna be the D2 color, so D2 D2 D2. Save, and we have this nice sidebar completed. Okay, so I think it looks the same. Yeah, maybe more margin, so let's add some more margin. Let's say not here, so 1 here, but here some margin top of 6. Yeah, so now I think it looks, now 5, Control Z, 5. Yeah, it looks basically the same. Now we're done with the sidebar. Let's go to the model. Okay, so for this model we are gonna need some this model, it's actually taken from Headless Ui. So if you search Headless UI on Google, you're gonna have this page. Headless UI was created by the guys from Tailwind CSS, so it's gonna be very easy to use. So we are gonna copy this model, so it's gonna look like this. When you click on something, we are gonna get this model. Okay, so let's click on the code, let's copy the code. Okay, so let's copy this, npm install headless UI / react. I'm gonna double this what's it called, this terminal, and I'm gonna say npm install headless UI. After everything is installed, we can use it. So let's copy again the code for the model. Copied, and now let's say basic example. We have basic example as well, how this state is gonna close and open the model. Okay, if you want to know more, you can just read the documentation here. So to add this model, we're gonna create a model component. Okay, so now that we've copied this dialog model, we're gonna use it when we click on this upload button. But first, to make this function, so to make this model appear and disappear, we're gonna need something called Recoil state management. So Recoil, if you go to their site, it's a state management library for React. Okay, so if you want this model to appear and disappear, we need to install Recoil first. So let's first finish with Recoil, and then we're gonna do the model. Okay, let's install Recoil. So npm install Recoil, copied. Now let's go to our insta, so cd insta, okay, and let's paste this npm install Recoil. Okay, I think we might, yeah, let me check something. Yeah, we've installed this Headless Ui. It was my bad. I've installed this Headless Ui outside the insta project. Okay, so I'm gonna copy these 3 node modules and I'm gonna delete them. Okay, and after this I'm gonna install the Headless Ui modal again. Okay, so let's copy this npm install Recoil. Let's copy, and inside insta I'm gonna paste this, and while this is installing, let's copy this Recoil root. This state management is like it's we could have used Redux, but it's not very beginner friendly, so we're gonna stick with Recoil. Okay, it does the same thing, but this is very easy to implement. I'm gonna show you. All we have to do is we're gonna create a folder called atoms, and inside these atoms let's create the state for our model. So I'm gonna say model state.js. Inside I'm gonna paste what I've copied from here, save. Oops, not this one. So inside the model state we're gonna come later, but first let's go to our root. So in pages I'm gonna go to the app.js, and inside here I'm gonna say we're gonna need to paste this Recoil root. Okay, we're gonna need to put the component inside the Recoil root. Okay, so let's say Recoil root, and inside let's put this component. Save. Let me delete this, and this one it's after return. Okay, save this, and now we have this set up. Let's import the Recoil root. So I'll copy this. I'm gonna delete this React because we don't need it. Save, and we don't need the atom, the selector, or the Recoil value neither. Save. I'm gonna give some spacing. Save. And the last thing to do, let's see the instructions. Okay, so we're gonna copy this and we're gonna paste it inside our model state. Okay, save this, but we don't need a text state, we need a model state. Let's name this model state. It's not important how you name it, but we're gonna stick with model state. This is gonna be called model state, and at first it's gonna be false because we want the model to be closed, and when we click it we want it to be active, so to show up. Okay, so I'm gonna say false. Save. Let's export this, export const, and let's import the atom. Okay, so here let's copy this and let's keep only the atom. Okay, save. Import atom from Recoil. Save this, and now we're set up. Only thing we have to do now is just use it inside our header. So this button is inside the header. We're gonna go to header and add the upload. So let's see here, I'm gonna say on click equals, and let's create the state management. I'm gonna the state for the model. I'm gonna say let's say set open, my bad, I'm gonna say set open equal with set open. Set open is gonna be the opposite of open. Okay, save this and let's create the state for this. I'm gonna go before the returns. I'm gonna say const open and set open. And now to use the Recoil state, say equal, and I'm gonna copy this from the Recoil state. So to use recoil state, as you can see, instead of the text and set text, we said open and set open, so the modal. Okay, now we're gonna use this recoil state and then the modal state, not the text state. So let's say use recoil state, no suggestions, and inside we're gonna need the modal state. Save this and let's import the recoil state first. We can import it from recoil, paste it here. Let's delete the other things, save this, and now let's import the modal state as well. The modal state is gonna come from this, from modal state, so we're exporting this, so let's import it in the header. Let's import modal state from /, it's gonna be atoms, yeah, / modal state, and save. Now let's see inside our app, set open, it's not defined. Set open, let's see. In the upload here, oh okay, so it's gotta be an arrow function. Okay, so save this. Let's see what's the problem. Set open is not defined. Let's refresh first. Let's see, so we have on click set open to the opposite of open. Open set open, use recoil state, modal state, save. You can wait for it to become okay, wait a little bit. So let's close our server first. So I'm gonna say Control C and yes. Okay, and now let's reopen the site. So I'm gonna say npm run dev, enter. Let's refresh this, see what's happened. What is going to happen? Let me delete this and say localhost 3000, not 3001. 3000. Okay, so everything is good. It was a bug because we didn't use the arrow function in the upload, so here we have to use this. Okay, now when we click on this, the open state, so open is gonna be true. So let's check if this works. So console.log and say open, save this, and let's go inspect console, and for now, as you can see, it's false. Okay, so when you click this, it's gonna be true. Now if you click again, false, true, false. So this is working. Now let's go to this was everything. So like this is how easy it is to use Recoil. Okay, now let's go to Headless Ui. So I'm gonna copy this and let's create the Modal component. So in the components, I'm gonna say Modal.js and REFC. Save this. Now when we click this, we want the modal to show up. So I've already copied this, so let's delete everything and paste it in here. Let's see what we have now. In the feed, no, in the index, I think, yeah, here we have to display to call the modal. Okay, so I'm gonna say modal and let's import it inside the index, not my modal but modal, modal.js, modal, and let's import the modal. I'm gonna say modal components / Modal and save. Let's see what's the problem. Can resolve Headless UI. Okay, so we have to install Headless UI because, as you remember, we had it installed outside this folder, so now we have to install inside the insta. Okay, I'm gonna say cd insta. We are already here, so I'm gonna say npm install. After everything is installed, we're gonna have no errors. Okay, so as you can see, we have this button now in the middle of the screen, and when we click on this, I'm gonna have this modal show up. Got it, thanks. But we want this to show up when we click on the modal. Okay, so let's delete this button, and it's in feed suggestions, no, in header. So header, no, in the modal. Okay, so in the modal, let me make this a little bit bigger. So let's delete the button. Where's the button? So yeah, starts here and it ends. Open the dialog. No, it's this one. Okay, so this is the button from here to here. Delete it, save, and now to show up, we are gonna need to modify the state. So instead of use state, we're gonna say use recoil state. So recoil state. Make sure you import it. So import use recoil from recoil, and this is gonna be the modal state, and import the modal state from atom/modal state as well. Save this, and now when we click on this, voila, we have got it, thanks. Okay, so now everything works when we click the upload. So let's modify this model so it looks like this. Okay, first let's say create new post. So instead of payment successful, here we're gonna say create new post. Save this. Now we have this please enter caption. So instead of your payment, let's say please enter a caption. So instead of your payment was successful, yeah, here I'm gonna say, actually let's make this an input because it's an input. So input slash, save this. Oops. So this is gonna be the input. Okay, make sure you close this, save. So it's gonna look like this. Now let's say placeholder of please enter a caption. Save this. Now make sure you close it correctly, so the input instead of 2p tags. Now if we check this, we have the please enter a caption. Now let's modify this button as well. So I'll say upload post instead of got it, thanks. I'm gonna say upload post and save. Okay, let's add the image as well. So this one is gonna be the media. So after the create post, create new post, where is it? Here. Okay, dialog title, and now and after is the enter caption. So just between those two, we're gonna say div, and inside this div let's add the image. So image, save this, and the source of the image is gonna be the media. So let's import the image media. It's import media. Is it lowercase? I forgot. So let me check. Return. Okay, so it's media lowercase. Okay, I'm gonna say import media from /assets and /media dot it's JPEG, I think. Save. Okay, so let's try with PNG. No, media dot JPEG. Let's try dot PNG. Okay, so it's dot PNG. Now when you click this, okay, it says we have to import the image. So this image, control in space and image. So now we have it imported. So let's see where's the image. Okay, I guess we don't have it imported. Let's do it again. So control space and this one, so next image. Now we have it, import image from next/image. Save this. Now when you click, we have this image. So the next thing we have to do is to give some padding to this modal. So I'm gonna start with the create new post. Actually, we have to put everything in the middle, and then we have to style the image. Okay, so the media. Let's go to this one. So I'm gonna say to this image, so let's go to the div, create new post, so this one. Okay, I'm gonna say for this media.src, I'm gonna say flex. So let's say flex. I'm gonna say items center. I'm gonna say width of 40. I'm gonna say a height of 40 as well. And we want, when you hover over this, as here, when we hover over it, we want it to be smaller. Okay, so to do this in Tailwind, it's so easy. You just have to say on hover. So when you hover over it, we want to scale it to 75, so 75 out of 100. Okay, so voila. Now as you can see, this is very laggy, not laggy, but it's not smooth at all. So to fix this, I'm gonna say duration of 200. Okay, save, and now it's very smooth. Now let's center everything in the middle. To do this, let's check. I'm gonna full screen here, and let's check where it's our content. Okay, now if we go to the dialog panel, we're gonna see the first div that has all the content inside it. It's this dialog.panel. Okay, so we have the title, the media, the input, everything inside it. So inside this class name of the dialog.panel, I'm gonna say flex. So let's do it here. I'm gonna say flex. I'm gonna say flex col, so column, add a space, save this, and let's say justify between, and save. Now I'm gonna say items center as well. So voila, we have this nice create new post, please enter a caption, and this upload post button. Now we have to change something about this input and the upload button. So let's go to the input first. This input has a text gray of 500, a text small, and I'm gonna say outline 0 because we don't want this outline. Outline 0. Okay, so now we don't, outline of 0. Now we don't have the outline. The next thing to do is to add some styling to the button. So this button, we want it, let's see, we want the color, so the color and the text is gonna be white. So the text, it's not blue, it's gonna be white. Save this, and the color is gonna be the one from here. So let's go to the let's go to the suggestions and copy the color. So this blue color, I'm gonna copy this, and back in the modal, inside, let me see, so the background color, we're gonna, so here it is. So instead of background, not here, background blue. Okay, so this one. So instead of background blue 100, we want not a text but a background of this color. Okay, so now we have this nice color. Now let's see, does it look the same? Now on hover, instead of blue 200, let's say 300 maybe. Yeah, now looks, yeah, I think it's the same now. Yeah, looks good to me. Okay, so we finished the modal as well. So I think that's it for the front end. Okay, like let's see if there is any difference. We have the posts, we have the stories, we have the mini profile. I think it looks the same to me. Let's check. Yeah, looks pretty much the same. So the next thing to do, we're gonna go and actually create an authorization page for this. So when we're gonna click on sign in, we're gonna be redirected to the sign in page, and on the sign in page we are gonna log in with our Google account. Now to log in with our Google account, we're gonna connect this to Firebase and to Google Cloud as well. So in the next video we're gonna create the authentication and the rest of the functionality of this Instagram app. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.